All right, welcome to the County Gamers. My name is Aaron.
And my name is Chris.
And today's question of the day is, what is your favorite state that you've either lived in or been to or traveled to? My favorite state is my home state, which is Montana, where I was born. It's called Big Sky Country for a reason.
Yep.
And I'm going to try and shift my chair so I can actually face you.
There we go. Yeah.
Our studio has been cannibalized due to some things going on around here. So we've had to once more shift the studio around for the third time in 3 months, which is always entertaining. But back to the question of the day. So I think Montana, because it's Big Sky Country, and whenever when you cross the border into Wyoming, from Wyoming into Montana, there's just something that happens. Like the sky just opens up.
Yep.
And I mean, Montana has Yellowstone. It has the Grand Tetons.
Let's go.
It has Kalispell.
Yep.
It has some beautiful, beautiful country. And even where my parents grew up in eastern Montana, northeastern Montana, where there is not a lot natural beauty. It's a lot of the plains. It's still gorgeous. It's still beautiful. It's still Big Sky Country. Yeah. There's also just something about folks in Montana, and I know every state lays claim to this, and I'm okay with it not being. I'm not trying to say that I know for real what the best state with the best people is, but my impression of Montanans, of my home state people. They're nice. They're kind. Yeah. They'll wave at you on the road. They're genuinely caring for you. They're not going to dismiss you out of turn. So yeah, I love Montana, and I love traveling to Montana because there's something about it that's really nice. So
cool.
What about you?
So I I've lived in Georgia and I visited Tennessee, South Carolina, but I think my favorite state is Colorado, without question. It is the same thing. The people are very kind. They're very nice. They were welcoming, inviting, and even when I started my new job, it was the exact same way. So I think personally, Colorado's my favorite just because of those things.
Yeah.
It is a very, very nice state, and it may just be this area. I'm not very sure, but this place is awesome. I love it here. So does my wife.
Okay. I think Colorado. I've lived here since 1992 when we moved here when I was in fourth or fifth grade. Sorry, I'm doing two things at once, and it's not a good idea to try and do that.
I'm terrible at that. One thing at a time for me.
Yeah, I'm not really good at this. Okay, so. Yeah, I think the only problem for Colorado is the cost of living here is nuts.
It's pretty. Yeah,
it's hard for folks to be able to buy a home or even rent in it. But Colorado is beautiful. There is a beauty in Colorado that I think almost challenges Montana in some ways, but doesn't quite get it.
Yeah,
there's just something special about Montana for me. But yeah, Colorado is. There's a reason why people move here. There's a reason why it's grown in popularity. There's a reason why this place is the way it is right now. It's because people want to be here and want to live here. So,
but John Mayer, he bought a house in Montana.
So did Tom Brokaw, and so did the TBS guy, Ted. Oh, the guy, the TV magnate. He was the cable magnate. I forgot his name because I haven't talked about him in forever, but he was a big deal. He had a Buffalo Ranch up there. Ted's Montana Grill is his restaurant, and so the buffalo that he raises in Montana, some of them are then used for buffalo burgers.
Oh yeah,
at Ted's Montana Grill. I love buffalo burgers. They're the good stuff. That's my jam.
I never tried them.
They're good. Buffalo is a very tasty meat. So there we go. There's a future episode idea. We can talk about types of meat and the meat you should cook and how you should cook it. We have no idea what we're talking about here coming up after the intro. So prepare yourself for something unknown, and we'll see what we navigate. This is the County Gamers. My name is Aaron.
My name is Chris.
Back to this. Welcome back to County Gamers. My name is Aaron.
My name is Chris.
Oh, Batman, get the heck out of here. This is not the Batcave. This is a very crowded Batcave. The home studio, I now share the home studio with my wife and her home office. So we're all crammed in this little room. But it's good. It's the best. And I think maybe it'll improve our acoustics because it's a tighter room.
Yep.
There's not as much walls to bounce stuff off of.
That's right.
We'll see. We'll see how this actually works.
Which is important.
It is. And we'll probably put some sound pads up eventually at some point down the road once I get everything else cleaned up.
Let's go.
Yeah, it's good times. Good times. Fun for the whole family. So you went and saw a movie this weekend.
Yes, I did. Yesterday.
And we actually watched this trailer on an episode previously.
We did.
We talked about it. It's Adam Driver in the movie called 65. Ooh. And the trailer, I think we watched it, and the reality of what the trailer was, you didn't know what the trailer was about or what the movie was about until halfway through the trailer.
Yeah.
When it was all of a sudden like, oh my gosh, they've gone 65. These are humans who are crash landing on Earth 65 million years ago in the time of the dinosaurs.
It was awesome, man.
And so that trailer hyped people up because they were like, this is the kind of movie people want. We want just this fun, crazy, quirky, like nutso subtopic idea story that just rocks and rolls.
Yep.
So there you go. So 65, Adam Driver. What was your thoughts from start to finish? What did this movie do for you?
Well, so I thought at first I wasn't really sure what was going on because of the way that they did it.
Yeah.
I mean, I remembered the trailer that we watched, of course, but you really don't know till later on in the movie what's actually going on. You're like, wait.
Really?
They're crash landing. Wait, they're on Earth. Wait, those are dinosaurs.
Yeah.
And you're like, wait, okay, now where's the backstory for all this?
Right.
I was waiting for that and never got it.
We never got the backstory of where they were going, what they were doing.
Never got the backstory. They crash landed. Actually, the idea was that they were going through space and they were doing like a long-term voyage.
Okay.
To go explore some other galaxy, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And so they ended up getting hit by a meteor shower. It was like sort of like they went through the rings of Saturn. Okay. Kind of.
Gotcha.
Type of thing.
Okay.
And so they get hit, and then they go down. And,
okay.
And the story is that, remember the asteroid that killed all the dinosaurs?
Yeah.
That comes later. It was awesome. Now,
wow. On that alone, I'm like, okay.
It was crazy.
I might actually watch this.
Yeah, so it was sort of like there was toward the end you start seeing all these like fire falling from the sky, which is asteroids going through the atmosphere, and it's sort of like I was shocked, man. I was like, this is pretty darn cool.
Okay.
Now I will say,
is this the spoiler alert territory?
Kind of.
Okay, I mean, here's your spoiler alert. If you haven't seen 65 yet, or if you don't want to have spoilers on 65,
don't listen.
Don't listen for a while.
So I thought the writing was going to be better.
Yeah.
Adam Driver's an incredible actor.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Very talented.
Dude's a legend.
Guy.
And he's still young. Like, dude's proved himself time and time again.
He has, yeah. And you know how sometimes in cinema when a story is very good, the concept is good, but the writing is kind of
Yeah.
That's how this movie is.
Really?
His acting is the only thing that makes it good, I think. Now, the writing, to me, the dialogue is good only because of him, and there's a girl that he dialogues with. Of course, you don't speak English, so
so they can't actually have a conversation.
Yeah, they can't. It's hard for them to communicate what they're trying to say, but then I personally think it was a good movie, but it wasn't a great movie.
That's unfortunate. So, again, we're still in spoiler territory right now.
Yep.
Do they escape off the planet? Do they die with the dinosaurs?
That's the best part.
Okay.
Oh, it is so awesome. So, okay, I'm just going to say it. I've got to tell you this. So, they, toward the end of the movie, as they're trying to get off the planet, their ship gets struck by an asteroid. Okay. A little one.
Yeah.
But a little one traveling at however many thousands of miles can beat the crap out of something. So that's what happens. A piece of the ship that is supposed to take off gets knocked off a cliff.
Okay.
And it's in the wrong position to take off because it's got to take off vertically.
Right.
So what happens is they have this T-Rex. There's two of them.
Yeah.
And the T-Rex actually comes and moves the ship, grabs a hold of it, and puts it in the position. and the guy kills the darn dinosaurs. Oh my goodness, dude, that part was awesome.
So, Teen Time Out. The dinosaurs help. Are they intentionally helping them?
No,
or
no,
unintentionally?
no, no.
Okay.
It's unintentional. They're trying to kill their rear end. So
Okay.
it ends up being to where the dinosaurs actually makes it to where they can actually take off vertically.
Okay.
And you have to watch it. You'll see what I'm talking about. There's a cliff, and they've got to take. And yes, they do escape the planet, but just barely. It is amazingly awesome.
So how they kind of coordinated the whole.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's pretty cool. But I think the writing could have been a little better.
Yeah.
It was a little weak. I will agree with that. I mean,
Okay.
I rarely see many movies these days though that are that good.
Yeah.
Rarely.
Okay.
But this one, I like the visuals. The visuals were very good.
Okay.
They were cool.
All right.
There you go.
Well, there it is. So, in the other side of the movie canal or movie valley or movie canyon, so we have some guests in our home that are of teenage years of the female variety. And so we were gifted the opportunity to watch. What I think I talked about the Princess Diaries last time, didn't I?
You did.
Okay, I did talk about that.
Okay,
I did talk about that one. Okay, so we watched those.
That's a great movie.
Yeah, good movies. So we were gifted with the opportunity to watch the Cheetah Girls movies.
Let's go! Yes.
And I only watched the first one because I was like,
good.
I'm not doing 2 and 3. My wife, she did, and she loves it. She enjoys that kind of stuff.
I like the first one.
So the first one is very interesting because it's these Disney. So we have Disney Plus, and so we've done a lot of like really delving into the like late 90s, early 2000s movie genre in the Disney world, and it's so startling how they viewed and portrayed the high school experience.
Oh yeah,
because it's so mean.
Oh, it's
and I know high school is mean. I'm not trying to say that high school isn't a mean place and full of mean people and mean girls and mean guys. But it was just it's as the kids say, it's almost cringe how they portray it.
Oh my goodness.
Because there's so much like just like there's so much like that
stereotypical
this
stuff.
Is,
yeah,
I'm done. Let's fast forward. I don't want to deal with this. The other thing is that in the first Cheetah Girls movie, again, spoiler alert, it's been out for 20 some odd years, almost
Holy
13
moly.
years. It's been out for 20 some years because it came out like 2003, so it's 20 years old.
That's crazy.
There's a couple of things in the movie that are interesting. So, number one, when they get their record deal from the guy whose name is literally like, I'm going to betray you and I'm a terrible person. I can't remember what his character's name is, but it's like you're like, okay, you're the bad guy. We know it. Huh? Okay, his name is Jackal. My wife is speaking through the door of the studio. So it's Jackal. His name is Jackal, and he is absolutely like just a jackal. Like he's not a good person. He's taking advantage of the girl's stardom. He's sleazy. It's really like he plays it well. The actor did a good job of portraying him as just like okay, dude, you have no actually vested interest in these girls' success. And so that happens. So Jackal surprises and whatever. The thing about this movie is that and Raven is the girl who plays
Raven-Symoné,
the lead, and she's legit. Like she's an amazing actress
I like her.
on her own and whatever. But in this movie, it leans so hard into she's the one that gets the big head.
Yep.
And it's interesting how it portrays the dynamics of the four girls and the friendship that's being tested.
Yep.
And how that works. And it works out okay to a point, but it almost becomes almost like too much. Like the throttle got pushed to the point where you're just like, okay, I know, like this, we're not dumb. We know this is going on. You don't need to emphasize her big head or her jerky behavior towards her bandmates anymore. Like you've made it abundantly clear.
You've beat us over the head with
right.
it.
A fifth grader could have figured out what you were trying to say 20 minutes ago, but you're just leaning so hard into it. And of course, because it's a late 90s, early 2000s movie, they have to come back together again. So they break up and they're not a band anymore. We find out that one of the girls, and this storyline I actually appreciated. Just because of how they wrote it.
Yep.
So there's one girl that always gets dropped off in front of the house, or in front of this like, big old apartment complex or whatever with a doorman. But she never talks about her family. And the girl's like, why does she never talk about her? Well, she's just, whatever, she lives in her. And they find out that she actually doesn't live in that penthouse. She lives in the supervisor's apartment superintendents of the
Let's go.
and she's a foster kid.
Yeah.
And there's a bunch of foster kids in this home, and the mom and all this stuff. And so it's really it's one of those moments where you're just like, whoa, okay, Disney went in hard on this. I'm really
invested.
Yeah, I'm invested in this. Like there's and of all the characters, I think she's the most compelling out of them.
Oh yeah, sure.
I mean, the other character, like her mom is going out with this boyfriend and dating him, and she's never home, and so she like, writes her a note one day and like, hey, honey, I had to go out, I can't make it. Here's my card. Get yourself something nice.
Yep.
Well, instead of like being like, okay, yeah, mom's trying to make up for it, instead she goes nuts and buys everything. Maxes out the card.
Oh no!
To the point where her mom's cards decline later in the movie, and there's this whole like, oh my gosh, what have you done? I'm so sorry. I just wanted your attention. That becomes almost like kind of a parody of itself, because it's just like, I don't know about that. Like that,
OMG.
you don't like you don't like the character for what she does to her
Yep.
mom by just spending all this money
Yep.
to the point that her card was declined. Like that was just like, okay, that's too much. And the other characters are all right, but the character who is the foster kid is her acting and just how her story is written.
Yep.
It's actually pretty compelling, and I was cheering for her. I want to see more of her story. Like this is okay. There's a cool arc here. Like okay, but they kind of give it to us, but then they kind of don't. So yeah, the first Cheetah Girls movie. What's funny is that it's presented in the 3x5 and not the widescreen.
Oh,
so when it was shot,
letterbox.
it's letterbox, so they couldn't upgrade it. I don't think so. It could be widescreen because how it was originally shot back in the day was that TV orientation.
Yeah.
So you can't get, unless I'm sure it's out there somewhere, you can't get your special edition widescreen,
4K
Blu-ray Cheetah Girls, upscaled, yeah, all that good stuff. But yeah, we watched that and it was good. There's also on Disney Plus again. We've got young folks in our house right now with that. Like we've been trolling through Disney Plus a lot.
Oh yeah.
There's a movie actually starring the Green Goblin. I can't remember his name, to be honest, off the top of my head.
William Dafoe.
Yeah, William Dafoe. And
Man.
a bunch of other characters, and it's the story of Togo. Back in the day where they needed a serum delivered in Alaska, they had to use sled dogs to get that serum delivered.
Exactly. Yep.
And so the newspapers at the time, Balto was the guy who got the coverage.
Oh, Balto, yeah.
Yeah, and there's a Disney, I think it's a DreamWorks animated movie
It
about
is.
Balto. There's
Yep.
a statue of Balto in New York.
Yep.
But the real true story is that Togo was the actual leader
Yep.
who led most of the hours and did a lot of the work with William Dafoe's character. That movie got me choked up in the end.
Oh,
like
darn.
legit, I was about to cry because it was just so touching and so
That's
well
crazy.
done. And it was just like, wow. So I think it's like the true story of Togo or something on Disney Plus, and it's just absolutely beautifully acted from start to finish. There's no moment where you're just like, actually no, there is. So.
Uh-oh, cringe moment.
I lied. Well, not cringe, but like they really went like, and it probably was based on like this was really a big risk.
Yep.
So he's going across the Sound, which is the lake that's been frozen over, but
Yep.
because like it's starting to thaw,
Uh-oh.
the ice starts to break
Yep.
as they're halfway across, and so as they get closer, the ice really starts to break,
Yeah.
and they're gonna get stuck. And so he pulls this thing, and he does this thing, and they get across, but it was just like this crazy like. A little bit of a CGI, like the ice is breaking, and oh my gosh! And I'm like, all right, look, did this really happen, or is this Disney trying to amp
Come
up,
on, y'all.
up the struggle bus? But it was good. Like I really enjoyed it. I was like, wow, okay, I'm invested in this. Like I don't want to turn this off. I want to keep watching.
Yep.
So we watched that, and that was a good one. I did not watch the other Cheetah Girls movies. I'm sure that if we're gonna have fidelity on this program, I probably should watch Cheetah Girls 2 and 3. No, you're shaking your head.
I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't.
If I wanted to punish myself more.
The first one was enough.
The first one is so you want to know how the first one ends? So they're broken, they're separated, they're mad at each other, and she's walking her dog, which of course is like a little Pomeranian, whatever. I don't even know what
Looks
it
like
is.
a little rat.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of small dogs. People out there have them, no, all the respect to you, but no, not my jam. Anyway, so she gets distracted, something happens, she loses the leash, and the dog takes off and then gets trapped in some sewer situation. And so they have to call the police, and it becomes this whole like broadcast news
20 minutes.
like situation of like there's a dog like choppers going over. There's a dog trapped in the sewer. Done film at 11. We're going live and from the and it's in front of the high school where they were going to be doing the talent show, but they decided not to do the talent show, instead they signed the record, but then they didn't get the record, and so then all the people from the high school come out and they're like, oh my gosh, is the dog okay? And Raven finally figures out that she's been really selfish and she hasn't been thinking about herself and all this other stuff, and so they all cheer, and then they start singing to the dog.
No!
And the dog then is able to escape and get up, and it's heartwarming.
That's horrible.
And then of course we have to have a dancing in the streets concert moment, and it's just like that's when I'm just like, and several times my wife would just look at me and say, "It's Disney, get over it." I'm like, "Yeah, but no,
stop it,
Disney." But I mean, it's fun. I mean, it's a good kids movie.
Oh yeah.
I mean, teenagers, I'm sure, like Cheetah Girls was a big deal back then.
It was pretty good.
It spawned 3 movies. Of course, it's got to be something worth it.
Yeah.
I googled Cheetah Girls just because I was curious, and there's talk of a new Cheetah Girls maybe coming someday soon.
Oh my goodness! No.
Which, everything old is new again. That's how we do around here. We don't invent anything new. We just write the new stuff.
So does that mean my Air Maxes are going to come back into style?
Probably. Everything.
I'll wear them anyway. I don't care.
Everything old is new again. All the old styles. All the
mullets.
Everything. Everything's coming back.
Oh yeah, it is.
And it makes me chuckle because it's just like, oh.
Some of this stuff is cool though. From our time, it was cool.
Yeah.
Our stuff was cool.
Yeah, there was the Jenko jeans.
Oh yeah,
and all that stuff.
Tie dye.
I never had the Jenko jeans. I was never cool enough to have those.
No.
Or like the shoes. Yeah, I was never cool enough. I always admired people who had the ability to get that stuff. But
Reebok pumps.
Oh my gosh.
I had a pair of those. They don't make you jump higher.
No, they don't. It's a marketing tool.
It is a
marketing ploy. They suckered all of us. All right, so you played Diablo 3.
Oh.
For the better part of into the AM.
Oh, a long time.
So it's Diablo 3 now, right?
So they've got 4 came out this weekend.
Okay,
the beta.
Okay.
So you paid to play it, so they can work out all the bugs.
Yeah, that whole ride.
I'm not doing that.
So you did play Diablo 3 though.
Yeah, I did buy it too.
So is Diablo 3 worth playing?
Oh yes.
Okay.
It is such an awesome game.
Okay.
I like it because of the way they built. So my character, I built a barbarian. So I have these big swords, and I can hit people in one hit and they die. It's awesome. And then I hit these critical hit moments where I'll take out 10 at a time. It's awesome. Yeah, it's a great game. I really like the gameplay. I like the story's but the gameplay is really good. I mean, it's made by Blizzard, so what do you expect?
Yeah.
Activision, which used to make good games, but now their games kind of suck. But I at least like that one. It's a really good game. Yeah, I'd recommend it.
Okay. Sorry, doing 2 things at work.
I played it for hours and hours and hours. I think it was last night. I didn't go to sleep till 3 o'clock this morning.
So you basically stayed up.
Well, I was staying up thinking about the stars too. So that the solar system. So that was another problem. I'm wanting to learn math.
You want to learn math
so I can understand the solar system.
Okay. What sparked? Is it because you said you watched Apollo 13 for the first time ever?
I did. Oh, that's one I want to talk about.
Okay.
Too. So
let's talk about Apollo 13.
Oh my goodness. So Apollo 13, in case nobody knows,
it's been out for several years.
It's the 90s.
Yeah.
So I don't know why I've never watched it. It's got one of my Tom Hanks in it. It's one of my favorite actors.
Has Ed Harris?
Gary Sinise. Yeah,
Gary Sinise.
Sinise. Uh-huh. Sensei.
That is not his name.
Oh, that does sound bad, doesn't
yeah,
it?
that does. Now that you verbalized it, you're like, oh, no.
I just brutalized his
It's
name.
okay. We apologize, Mr. Sinise. We love you and your efforts and your kindness.
We do.
You're a good guy.
So I liked it because I thought that originally it was going to be kind of boring. And because a lot of those movies are. They have you're in a space capsule in the middle of space. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
But they made it interesting.
Yeah.
The whole movie was interesting.
Yeah, Apollo 13 is one of my favorites.
That's a great movie
because it's so, the acting and the writing and how that story is paced is so tightly woven from start to finish.
It is.
Every moment is just you understand what's going on and you feel as if you're on that journey.
You do.
One of my favorite. There's a lot of favorite moments from that movie, but one of my favorite moments is when they realize they're running out of O2, out of oxygen, because the carbon monoxide the scrubbers are failing because they're not the right ones.
That's right. Yeah.
And so they say the lovely moment of like, you've got to figure out how to get this into this.
Yeah.
And then Ed Harris turns to it and says, "Tell me this isn't a government. Tell me this is a government project without telling me it's a government project." Because the LEM and the landing module had two different size scrubbers.
They did.
One was round, one was square.
Exactly.
And so they had to take everything that they had available on the ship and create an actual CO2 scrubber.
They did.
And if they weren't able to do it, the guys would have died.
They would have.
And it was a real risk, it was a real fear, and it was a real thing. And they literally quickly had to gather all the materials that they would have had on the ship and create it. And that moment for me is one of my favorites, because it speaks to how every moment of every piece of that story, nothing works the way it should from start to finish.
Yeah.
There's always something going wrong.
It breaks wrong. Everything
does. And that's, I think, when you really look at that movie and what happened and how we got them home.
Yeah.
The harsh reality of it is, we would be talking like the effect of losing Apollo 13. If we had lost Apollo 13, if they had not made it, if they had been the impact on American psyches, the loss of those astronauts and not being able to rescue them, like how they were, like you're talking about math, the math that they used to calculate how they were going to get them home, how they were going to get around the moon's orbit, how they were going to, at what point were they going to engage the thrusters,
and for how long,
that would then determine where they splashed down on Earth.
That's exactly right.
And the math was so specific and so precise that they were able to figure that out. When have you ever seen the movie Hidden Figures?
Oh yes,
that is
another one of my favorite movies.
I love that movie, just not just for the subject matter, but for the actors. Like, like every single person in that movie just acts their life off.
Yeah, they do.
But what I love about that movie is they portray how math is used.
Yep.
And say, okay, well, this formula, and it's all this can give us where they're going to land. Exactly. And the cool part of that movie I love is when she accurately, down to like a mile, is able to calculate where he's going to land.
Where he's going to land, yeah.
And he looks at her and he says, "She's the only one able to calculate my landings from now on. Like, she's the one I trust because she knows how to do it."
Get the smart one, he said.
Get the smart one. And it's like that. There is that math part of that. You have to have a head for that brain, for that math. And so you look at Hidden Figures, you look at Apollo 13, and there's so much math involved. There's so much calculations.
Goodness. Yeah, there is.
To get all of that figured out, it's just bonkers. But you're right. You can use math to figure out where the stars are, planets are.
How big they are.
Like, there is so much. And you think about, like, we understand enough, but we still don't understand our universe.
We understand maybe 0.5%.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
If
and there's
we're lucky.
so much more to learn, because we're not, like, we can't just put on binoculars and look. We have to put on the Hubble or the James Webb telescope.
Yeah, James Webb.
And it's interesting. We talk about how James Webb can see, and the reality of what you see at night when you're looking at stars is you're seeing stars millions and trillions of miles away, and time has passed. The light you're seeing is from when is millions of, is like 100,000 years ago, or however. Again, the calculations you have to make to figure out the speed of light, speed of sound, speed of whatever. So those stars, you're seeing them in a different time. You're not seeing them like
as they are.
You're seeing them as however long ago that was.
That's insane,
and
right?
And you were talking about this today, and I kind of was like, okay, cool, like, let's talk about space. But you're right, it is the massive, I don't want to call it a weight, but it is we are so small.
We are.
And so tiny in this great, not just in the Milky Way galaxy, but beyond. Yep. There is so much out there that we still don't have an understanding of.
We don't. And
it's cool that we're still, we've gone as far as the moon. We haven't gone any farther. I mean, we've landed rovers on Mars and other places. We've done that, but we haven't put human beings on any of that yet. Yeah. And that's the next idea is we'll get someone to Mars. Like, there's ongoing projects there. But we haven't figured out how to get out there quicker, because we're still operating with rockets.
Oh, they're working on it. Light speed vehicles is what they're looking at right now.
Yeah, and that's that's a whole nother, like, that I think is a very interesting but also terrifying concept, because
It is.
at some point you have to put a body in one of those things and test out what its effect is going to have on a human body when you engage these new engines that you create.
Yeah.
And because space is not like, and so we'll flip over for a second to Star Trek. So in Star Trek, it's really simple how they pulled it together, because when they go to warp speed, they have a deflector dish, and that deflector dish is then used to deflect asteroids, rocks, debris,
Exactly.
and so that deflector covers the ship as it warps and keeps the ship from impacting on things.
Exactly. Yeah.
We don't have that technology.
Nope.
We don't have deflector dishes.
Be cool though.
It would be awesome, and it would be a genius thing. It would get us where we need to get. But the reality of it is, if you have a light speed vehicle, you're going to have to figure out a way to armor that thing to protect it, because
Yeah.
if you're moving so fast and you can only see so far ahead, and you get hit by space junk or space debris or whatever, you're done.
Well, what is the speed of light? Is it like 900 million something?
You're asking the wrong dude.
I think that's what it was.
We both. It's 2023. We have the access to the internets.
Oh man, 299,792,458 meters a second. That is that's moving along pretty darn fast. So you think about that. What effect is that going to have on the human body aging?
Right.
Is it going to cause aging? Is it going to
Right, because you have not only the issue of zero gravity, you have the issue of pressure, you have the effect of G's.
pressure? That's right.
You have all of those effects on your bones and your body and your brain and
Yep.
everything. So they're going to have to figure out a way to like get the human body, also not just the human body, but the capsule protected,
Pressurized. Pressurized.
pressurized it. You have to figure out how to protect, like how do you protect from the G-force, and all of that. Like
Man.
that's crazy to think about.
But if you think about the advent of AI now, they could I don't like it either, but I got a whole video on that.
Okay.
So they could take an AI bot, put an AI bot into space,
Yeah.
or make it a part of the ship
Right.
and do it that way. That would
That
probably
just, that
be.
just sounds like a science fiction movie ready to go.
It does.
The AI takes over.
Let's go.
I can't. Open the door, Hal. I can't do that, Dave. Like you're talking 2001. Space Odyssey. That's what you're looking for now.
But it's true, because eventually that's what they're going to want to do. But at what point is it too far?
Yeah.
At what point does it become an issue of ethics?
Mm-hmm.
You're throwing somebody into space,
Yeah.
and in space, as you know, darkness is dark.
Yeah.
There's no light
Yeah.
where there's darkness. And if you apply light, a light only goes
So far.
to the point where it's supposed to go. It
Yeah.
doesn't spread out
Yeah.
everywhere.
Yeah.
That's the problem. Is like, it's weird because there's no air.
Yep.
So if there's no air, there's no sound,
Yep.
because sound travels through air.
Through air. Yep.
So it's crazy to think about all that stuff.
I think I've had these moments in the past where I start to think about space, and it's not that it overwhelms me, but it's just the thinking about it all.
Yeah.
It makes you feel so small.
I love it.
And you're just like, I need to get off this, because I can't. I feel so teeny and tiny, and I need to. I know. I think that's the thing about humanity is we think we're all that in a bag of chips, and in some ways we are. We have come a long way
We have.
in the millions and millions of years we've been on this planet.
But it took millions and millions
It's
of
been a
years.
long time, and even just like to get us into space and all that stuff there.
That is the thing, though. Like, space, because I always think that we're not as far along as we think we are because of some of the stupid stuff we still do. It's like we never learn our lessons sometimes. But I do believe that space was one of our greatest achievements. I love space. It's awesome. I wonder it makes. Oh, I watched another movie last night too about Saturn. Oh, Interstellar.
Oh, good
Ooh,
lord!
my goodness.
That one's another one.
Oh, I love that movie. Man alive, that's a good one. I was a little confused there for a while about what was going on toward the end.
Yeah,
And I was like, and I was like, okay, what are they trying to say?
yeah,
Then he comes back and his daughter's like
Yeah.
way older than
yeah,
him.
yeah. So Interstellar is
Oh my goodness.
it'll mess with your mind.
It will.
And I love it because it challenges you.
Ooh,
you
good.
have to really think. You can't just sit there and watch things blow up.
That's right.
You have to pay attention.
You do. Yeah.
You have to be aware of what is happening and how it's happening. And it's I think Interstellar is one of the more truer representations of space travel and the risks. And because no one is safe.
You're unknown.
And that,
it's all unknown.
And I will have to watch it again because the first time I watched it, it just overwhelmed me. I was like, there is so much happening here.
It's a good movie.
Oh my gosh. But it was so well done because it
Yep.
helps you understand the potential for space and what could happen to us.
Yeah.
And how that can work.
And it can happen just like that, dude.
Yeah,
It could be that
absolutely
quick.
can. So it's I get a kick out of it. I love Interstellar. I need to watch that again. And
What about Gravity?
I have not watched Gravity.
With Sandra Bullock?
Nope. It's I've heard,
It's all right.
I've heard it's okay.
It's all right.
Yeah. I didn't get a good feel for it. Like I was like, okay, well, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same like Space Cowboys, the old school Clint Eastwood, all those old guys, and you go back into space.
What about Astronaut Farmer?
I have not seen Astronaut Farmer.
Ooh.
Is it good?
It's got Billy Bob Thornton. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
It's about a guy who builds a rocket ship out in his backyard.
Okay. I think I've heard of this movie.
It's very
Or I
good.
saw trailers for it.
It's good.
I'll have to check it out. The Martian is the one that I need to watch as well.
That's
Matt Damon.
Matt Damon. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good one, too.
Yeah. There's been some good space movies.
Yep.
I'm trying to think of anything else that I've watched space movie wise.
Now, I can't really I can't think of anything else. Because, I mean, if it's...
Well, like I've watched The Expanse on Amazon Prime.
Oh, yeah.
The Expanse is good. Like that's a really good space TV series. Kind of. There's also Dark Matter, which was a good three
I
season.
hadn't watched that one.
3 season. It's really good. It's quite impressive. It's kind of a space opera kind of deal.
I like the Curiosity Stream, the Zenith.
Okay,
That's pretty cool, too.
I'll check that out. Okay, so speaking of space,
Oh, yes.
let's talk about a game which we both. What's interesting? So you, me, and I follow a streamer on Twitter and on YouTube called Sexy Biscuit, and they're fantastic. They do a lot of cool stuff. They've built a lot of a cool fan base.
That's cool.
But all of us apparently watched this video. You watched it, I watched it, and
Today, actually.
and they watched it. The streamer is called ESO. ESO has 2.15 million subscribers on YouTube. So this is a big dude. He's not small time. So they were talking about Starfield, but he said he found this game called Spaceborne 2, and it's done by one dude, and it's basically Starfield and the other game that's been in developmental hell forever and ever and ever forever.
Was that crappy one? The graphics were really bad.
No, this what it was so like it's EVE Online,
Oh yeah, EVE Online. Yeah.
Elite Dangerous, No Man's Sky.
I don't know of any others. There is one more. I just can't. Think
I
of
know
the
it's. I looked at it today. Star Citizen. There it is. So it's like Star Citizen, and it's like, but it's better and apparently polished, and it's an early release, I think.
name. It is.
But it is apparently really, really good. This video he did is 45 minutes long.
It's incredible looking.
And
too.
it looks good. We were watching this video. I'm not going to play it, but I'll skip through. Like you can cloak your ship, you can walk around like you do on Star Citizen. You can land your spaceship.
Dude,
it's an
20,
art.
It's $20.
20. Oh my gosh, I might have to invest in that on Wednesday because that just seems like a really good choice. So yeah, there's like RPG elements. It's a real expansive story. There's gameplay where you can like upgrade your ship with armory and weapons and engines. There's planet locations. There's a lot of them. You can go to different parts of the planet. You fly into the planet. It actually works like it should. You get to upgrade your equipment. You get to upgrade your weapons, like on your person, not just your ship.
This is amazing.
So it looks really, really, really golden. And the way he plays it, he just shows it all off. He's like, yeah, this is really, really good. And so, yeah, Spaceborne 2 is on my list. of games to play, just because it looks really solid.
It's on my list too.
And Star Citizen has always been a joke, but of people's joke, kind of butt of people's jokes, because it hasn't fully released.
Yeah.
It's still an early release. It's still in
For how many years?
10. And they have amassed millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars in Kickstarter funds and funding, and
That's horrible.
it's still not polished. It's still not where it needs to be. But they announced yesterday that Starfield has a release date, September of 2023. It is coming. So, and they said they're going to have in June, they're going to have a Starfield like forum where they're going to like take us through the game and introduce us to a lot of things and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
So I'm hopeful that this means that things are going to be better than Skyrim version 2 or Fallout version, whatever version we're on
Whichever
now,
one it is.
whatever we're at. So we're hopeful there. Skull and Bones on the Ubisoft world and continues in developmental hell. And I'm not sure if we're ever going to. Actually, I think they have to release it, but we're not. There's a lot of talk about how it's a disaster, and all the leaks are coming out are pretty terrible. So you don't play City Planner games or City Builder
Not
games.
really, no.
But City Skylines recently announced that their sequel to City Skylines, so City Skylines 2, is coming in 2023.
Oh, this year, huh?
So it is on its way out. So it'll
Awesome.
be there's more to come. It's been in development for like 2 or 3 years. The game is about, I don't know, 7 or 8 years old already. City Skylines is. And so the City Skylines 2, they're talking it's bigger, better, and it's going to be the perfect city builder ever. Like, and that's a big jump. But
man.
if anybody can do it, that the team can.
That's true.
What else? I'm trying to think of what other games I've heard or been announced.
I hadn't really played any other.
WWE 2K23 came out.
Oh.
The next evolution in the I need probably on Wednesday or Thursday. I'm going to pick it up and start playing it because I can play it
Cool.
on PC and I have my controller, so I might do that.
You got a controller, huh?
It's somewhere sitting in here. It's in my mess. It's in the mess of stuff that we've got here. I haven't been playing a lot of City Skylines. I just haven't had any real motivation to play anything else for a while.
Yeah, me too.
I did have a conversation with somebody yesterday about Sekiro Die Twice and a couple other games that they were playing. So I'm going to check them out. I'm not a big like in that genre of gameplay.
Oh yeah.
But like Sekiro Die Twice. Just I've actually wanted to pick up because it looks like a lot of fun. But there's also like Elden Ring that I need to get back into and stuff like that. It's such a good game. It's such a solid game. Okay, well. Do you have anything else you want to? This is a shorter episode.
Yeah, it is.
It's almost 4:00.
That's insane.
I know it's been a long day. Chris has been very helpful today in getting us organized in this house.
I think I'm gonna watch. So I bought a box set.
Okay.
Back to the Future.
Oh,
Sealed in the original package,
Ooh.
and I got it for $1.
Jeez, come on, that's crazy.
Seriously, it was at a yard sale. And
That's incredible.
I think I'm gonna pop her open tonight. And
Enjoy yourself some Marty McFly.
That's right.
And that first movie is picture perfect. That first movie is one of the best movies of all time.
It is very good. Yes,
It's the good stuff.
my flux capacitor is at home.
1.21 gigawatts. Great Scott.
When he said gigawatts, I looked at my dad. I said, "Dad, what's a gigawatt?" Daddy's like, "That don't exist."
It don't exist yet. You never know.
You never know.
We could all have our own DeLoreans here in 100 years. Who knows?
That'd be cool.
I don't think I'll be alive in 100. I'd be 140. Nope.
Yeah,
not gonna make it that long.
Nope. I don't want to live that long.
No, that unless no. I don't want to be a robotic like.
No, crap with that. No,
not so much.
I'm a human.
I like to be human.
Yeah.
All right. Well, on that note, my name is Aaron,
And my name is Chris.
and this. I love how you try and slip it in.
I try
You
so
try.
hard.
You
yeah.
do. You keep trying to make fetch happen, and you do.
Oh, fetch.
Oh my
That
goodness.
was cringe.
Yeah, that. Well, the kids, what the kids say these days now is like instead of saying charisma, they call it Riz. So your Riz.
What?
Yeah, your Riz ain't enough.
That's sus.
Yeah, that's so okay. So that actually isn't. Kids don't use that as much anymore. And there was a thing many years ago where kids would do like the whoa, where they would do like this thing where they get ready to go and they're like that. And I did that to one of my students last night, and they're like, "No,
Stop it.
don't do that. No." And I was like, "But it's." I'm like, "No." I'm like, "Okay, whatever."
I'm gonna do it now. I have to.
Yeah, there you go. Do it on your own risk. All right. Well, once more, thanks for listening to the County Gamers. We will catch you on the next episode. You've been listening to the County Gamers Podcast, presented by Create at Morgan Productions, located in Fort Morgan, Colorado, USA. For more information on our production house, other podcasts that are hosted here, and further details, please visit www.createatmorgan.org. You can find us on Twitter at the handle CreateAtMorgan. Create at Morgan is a school club at Lincoln High School, our alternative education campus here in Morgan County. Our sponsor is Aaron DeLay, the language arts teacher at Lincoln. Send any feedback to adelayedteacher@gmail.com. Thank you for listening to our podcast.